Hello Raptors fans, and welcome back to another episode of Raptors Overtime. My name is Vincent, and today we will be talking about the Raptors' 99-96 win against the Indiana Pacers. Before we get into the game, let's talk about the injury report for the Raptors. After missing 6 weeks, Norman Powell made his return against the Pacers tonight, along with Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam, whom both sat out against the Denver Nuggets with back injuries. Kyle Lowry, JV, and Serge Ibaka were all unable to play tonight. Pacers come into the game after a tough loss to the Cavaliers that saw Larry Nance Jr. tip in a last-minute basket to lift his team to the win. The Raptors also come into this game off their loss to the Nuggets that saw them score only 14 points in the fourth quarter. It was a terrible shooting night from three-point range for the Raptors, and it cost them the game with multiple players having terrible offensive nights. With that being said, let's get right into it. Wow. What a game. The fourth quarter the Raptors played tonight against the Pacers was the complete opposite to the one they had against the Nuggets. The Raptors dug in and played hard-nosed defense, giving nothing up easily to the Pacers, while also executing on the offensive end. No, they didn't have a stellar offensive game tonight, but their defense kept them in it enough for them to pull out the win. This game was won in the final frame, and the Raptors rose to the challenge. They were down by as much as 10 points at the beginning of the quarter, however managed to fight and claw their way back to win the game by 3 points. What a difference Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam made for the Raptors tonight. These two played solid defense in the fourth quarter and provided valuable minutes that the Raptors' third-string players just were not able to match in the Denver Nuggets game. At the end of the game, Steady Freddy said that right now, the Raptors team just isn't in rhythm because of the next man up mentality they have been forced into due to injuries. I am going to have to agree 100%. The Raptors haven't really played with a coherent unit for the entire season. However, with VanVleet, Powell, Siakam, Lowry, and Valanciunas all out in the previous game, the Raptors were missing 6 out of their total 15 players. That's 40% of your team that is unable to suit up, and more importantly, that is 6 of your top 11 guys that are out of the lineup. Hopefully, the injury bug doesn't hit the Raptors any harder than it already has, and they are able to play out the rest of the season with some consistency so that they are able to get into a rhythm for the playoffs. Alright, let's talk about the Claw, Kawhi Leonard, who had another double-double tonight and led the Raptors in points scored, rebounds, and assists. Leonard scored 28 points on 11 of 23 shooting, grabbing 10 rebounds, dished out 6 assists, and managed an incredible 4 steals. That's right, folks, he stole it 4 times tonight and played sensational defense in the fourth quarter to lead this Raptors team back from the grave. In comparison, the entire Pacers team had only 5 steals. That's right, Kawhi nearly matched their total by himself. Without a doubt, Kawhi Leonard was MVP tonight and deserves to be the player of the game. As many people speculated during the offseason, the Raptors have the length, athleticism, and right players to be a formidable defensive juggernaut, and flashes of it could be seen tonight. The Raptors team totaled 15 steals and 9 block shots on the night. A lot of this defensive prowess was shown in the fourth quarter that held the Pacers to only 11 points. Hopefully, they somehow bottle up this defensive magic and carry it over to their next game. Now, let's move on to the other Raptors starters in this game. With Kyle Lowry out for this game, we see the return of Steady Freddy to the starting lineup. Like I said earlier, what a difference this guy makes on the floor for this Raptors team. Looking at his stats for the game, you would assume that VanVleet played horribly tonight, and for the most part, he did. He scored 11 points on 4 of 17 shooting, grabbed 2 rebounds, had 1 assist, 2 steals, and 1 block. However, there's a reason why he has the nickname Steady Freddy. In the fourth quarter, despite his shooting woes, VanVleet hit 2 big threes and made several impressive defensive plays for the Raptors, living up to his moniker of being steady. Siakam was also mentioned earlier, and his presence was definitely appreciated tonight. Pascal scored 17 points on 6 of 10 shooting, grabbed 7 rebounds, dished out 4 assists, had 3 steals of his own, and 1 block. He came back from his 1-game injury and didn't skip a beat. Greg Monroe started tonight in place of Ibaka, who is also out of the lineup. Monroe had a solid first quarter, however wasn't able to match up efficiently against the Pacers lineup for the rest of the night. He scored 13 points on 6 of 9 shooting, grabbed 8 boards, and managed 1 steal. With both Ibaka and Valanciunas out tonight, you can't really ask much more from Greg. Final starter for tonight was Danny Green, who, like VanVleet, did not have a very impressive box score, but came up huge down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Green finished with 7 points on 2 of 8 shooting and shot only 1 of 6 from 3-point range. He also grabbed 2 rebounds, dished out 1 assist, had 2 steals, and a block. Danny Green secured a jump ball late in the quarter and won it, allowing the Raptors some breathing room with his 2 free throws. This essentially sealed the Raptors' win. Sometimes, the numbers don't reflect the impact a player has on the game, and tonight was definitely one of those nights for Green. With the starters out of the way, there are several bench players who made an impact tonight in my opinion. Powell returned from injury and statistically didn't have an impressive night. However, it was good to see Norm back out there and playing ball instead of on the bench with his cast. He will provide some much needed relief to this Raptors team that has been depleted of both starters and reserves for the past several games. Boucher got some run today as both Ibaka and JV were out, and he had a great showing in 10 minutes of play with 5 points, 2 boards, 1 steal, and an impressive 3 blocks. Lorenzo Brown played limited minutes tonight. However, in his 7 minutes of play, he did manage to grab a few key rebounds that allowed the Raptors some second chance points in the fourth quarter. DeLon had a decent game tonight and scored 6 points, grabbed 6 rebounds, dished out 4 assists, and had 1 block. Now, let's get to the 2 players that had the biggest impact coming off of the bench tonight. The first being OG Anunoby. There were certain points in the third and fourth quarter where Coach Nurse paired OG with Leonard and they played some lockdown defense together. If this Raptors team can commit to a defensive-minded identity and are able to bring it to each and every game, they are going to be a tough opponent to score against. At one point in the game, Nurse rolled out a lineup of DeLon Wright, Norman Powell, OG Anunoby, Kawhi Leonard, and Pascal Siakam. This is a scary defensive lineup that can switch on everyone due to their length and athleticism. And sure, they may need to rely on Kawhi Leonard on the offensive end, but up until this point, Kawhi has been a willing contributor. I think you can easily sub in either Norman Powell or Danny Green at the 2 spot, and this lineup would be scary either way. The second player that had an impact coming off of the bench was CJ Miles. I know most of you would be expecting that he impacted the game with his 3-point shot. However, he was 0 of 2 from 3-point range and missed a wide open one in the fourth quarter. So what did CJ Miles do? Well, he scored 2 points on 1 of 3 shooting, grabbed no rebounds, and only had 1 assist. Not exactly an impactful stat line. However, the theme for tonight are the plays that don't show up on the box score, and CJ had one of his own. Late in the quarter, with the Raptors down 2, Danny Green took a 3-point shot that clanged off the rim, and it looked like all hope was lost for the Raptors. That was until the hero we do not deserve in CJ Miles came to the rescue and poked the ball loose from the nearest Pacers player, and the ball landed back in Green's hands. It would have been tempting to take that shot and be the hero for the game, but no. Danny Green calmly passed the ball over to Van Vliet, who, mind you, had been shooting terribly up until this point, and he launched a 3-ball of his own. Lo and behold, swish. The Raptors were up by 1 and would not concede the lead to the Pacers again. Who would have thought it? CJ making a huge play that didn't involve hitting a 3-point shot. What a game indeed. Although the Raptors managed to win this one, there are many areas they need to improve on. They gave up 34 points to the Pacers in the first quarter. They shot only 23% from beyond the 3-point line. Their offense stagnated at multiple points in the game, and the list continues. However, I believe that most of these things will be rectified with the team becoming healthy and being able to string together some playing time. Moving forward, the Raptors host the Cleveland Cavaliers at home on December 21st, and they play again on December 22nd against the 76ers. After Saturday night's game, the Raptors get the holidays off and do not play again until December 26th when they go to Miami to play the Heat. Thanks for listening, everyone, and I hope to catch you all on the next episode of Raptors Overtime.